the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.
Welcome to INCRadio South Central State Satellite Studio. We thank you for joining us here. We are live in Fort Worth, Texas. It's a really nice morning this morning. And we're actually going to talk about summer vacation and our experiences growing up, going all the way from Gen X to Millennial, all the way to Gen Z. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce my generational panelists today. Let's start with Gen X. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Is that me?
That's you.
Hi, my name is Arnie. I am here in Fort Worth. Yeah, and I guess I'm Gen X.
Gen X. All right. Now I'm going to represent the millennial generation, and I'll be bridging the gap between Gen X and Gen Z. So we do have our Gen Z panelists here today. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Hello. Thank you guys for having me. I'm Miko. And yeah, this is my first time here. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us here today. Now, I'm going to drop the question in the chat. Of course, many have already started answering the question. Let me go ahead and bump that back up. And that is, what was your favorite thing to do or place to go on summer vacation? Okay. And we're talking about school's out. Okay. Now you're at home. Maybe you were at home alone. Hopefully not. But what did you do as a child? And that's what we want to discuss here today. And we're actually going to start with let's see, our most memorable summer vacation trips. Okay. So maybe your parents took some time off and you took a summer trip. Let's start with Gen X. What did y'all do? Where did y'all go?
Okay, so every year almost, we would go drive to Southern California, and we would go to the different theme parks over there, especially the one with a rodent.
The rodent theme park?
The rodent theme park. And the reason we would go there is because I had family from Norway who would come and visit us, but they could only fly into LA. So the whole family would do road trips to LA, pick them up, go to the theme parks and go around. And I just remember it was always like happy times when we were at Disneyland.
Now at the theme park, are you more of a rides person, or are you the food or the shows?
When we were kids, I was more of the rides person. I enjoyed all the rides, and we tried to get on as many rides as we could. Even though we were shorter, sometimes we would try to still ride the roller coasters and things like that. As a kid, we really couldn't afford all the foods there. So parents would pack our lunches or pack your snacks and take it into the park. So it was mainly about the rides and the music and I think just the environment alone. And being able to do that with like our grandparents, aunts and uncles, not just my parents and my siblings.
And I went to the theme park. It's the same one. By the way, we're not sponsored, nor do we sponsor any particular theme park, but I went to the one in Orlando, and the one that I remember was it was a scary ride. I think it was like some kind of haunted house kind of ride, and I remember it scared me out of my mind. Like I did not want to go in. Like the whole way leading up to the ride, it's like a graveyard scene and it's a scary house, and I was like, no, Mom, I don't want to go. Don't want to go.
That's just funny because I was never scared of any of the rides, whether they were the roller coaster ones or the really, mellow animated ones. But it was just always fun, or maybe because we knew none of it was real.
Wish I could say the same, but I can't. But for me, because I lived in Florida, we liked tubing. So there's the Blackwater River, which is spring fed up in Northwest Florida. And we would rent out a tube, and you would take like the whole day and you just float down the river, either in a tube or in a canoe. Actually, we didn't go tubing. We went kayaking because when you look at the Blackwater River, you're like, I'm not sticking any part of my body into that river because as the name implies, it's like it's dark. You can't even see the bottom. And it's kind of like a little swampy the most of the way there. But there's a few spots where you can actually get out and go swimming. What about Gen Z? What kind of places did you guys go to?
So we really enjoyed going to my family and I. We enjoyed going to water parks. Actually,
Oh yeah,
so we
parks.
had at least my favorite ride was the lazy river.
Yeah.
Because I was the big chubby kid, so I couldn't really go on the slides. I was afraid of heights, so I really enjoyed the lazy river and just swimming there with my tube. So yeah, that was.
You speak of heights. I remember going on one of those high rides,
Mhm.
right? And you wait in line for a good amount of time.
Oh yeah, right.
And then I get there and I sit in the slide. I'm ready to go down, and I was like, nope, and I ran.
You're one of those.
I was one of those. Yeah, when I was a kid, I'm a complete opposite person now. Now, like, I'll even go bungee jumping, and they'll count down like 3, 2, 1, jump, and most people won't. I would jump like before they even finish counting down.
I don't know. Like when we went to water parks, I think we were daring, and my sisters and I think because there's 4 of us and we stuck together, so we would be daring and doing stuff. But I think one of my favorite water slides was actually on a cruise ship, and it's
Ooh.
you're in a raft looking thing, and then they send you down, and then you're going all the way up as if you're going to go over the edge and into the ocean, but then you don't. But that was really fun.
Yeah, another one of my favorite family trips was we went up to Massachusetts where I have family,
Mhm.
and we camped pretty much the whole way there. There was a place in Pennsylvania, it's a little town called Ohio Pile, and it's far away from the cities. It's up in the mountains, and yeah, we would camp there. We went swimming in the river there, which was real nice. But yeah, that was one of my favorite memories was camping with my family. Did you ever go camping?
I went camping, but not as a child. A lot of our camping was when we were much older. So it was more of my nephews and my nieces enjoying the camping. But we did more road trips than we did camping.
And like in Florida, when we went camping, it's like 110% humidity. So it's
Mm-mm.
like a real miserable time camping. Did you ever go camping?
No, I was not.
No.
I was one of the indoor kids, like my family, we enjoyed like staying indoors or um well, my dad, he used to work for, like an airline company,
Yeah.
and we would go travel more than camping. So
Well, so what's another family trip that you would have taken in the summer?
we went to the Philippines.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we went
Really?
to the Philippines, and they had some really nice beaches over there. I think it was some sort of lagoon. I can't remember the name, but it was the clearest water I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the weather was perfect.
And I got my parents, they got property out in 100 Islands, and it's like that. I mean, and the name basically describes how the place looks. Hundreds of islands out in this bay.
Mhm.
It's real beautiful. And it's like you said, the water is like really clear.
And it's like you can go out deep into the water and you could see clear and see the fish swimming and all that stuff. That's the thing I liked about the beaches over
Oh
there.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Compared, it doesn't it like the beaches here can't compare to the beaches in the Philippines. I don't think.
The
Oh, yeah.
beaches here in Fort Worth.
Like
Well,
Galveston.
yeah, that and a few of the ones in California. Like we've got really nice beaches, but it's totally different.
Right.
Because I do remember going to one of the beaches in the Philippines and it was really hot,
Mm.
but the sand was not hot at all. So you could be out on the sand all day long and not burn your feet. In California, when you go to the beaches and it's hot, it
Yeah,
really
yeah.
is hot. You got to like run through the sand or have your shoes on.
Oh, that's the same in Florida. Yeah. Did you ever go to the beach?
Yeah, I went to the beach. Actually, um, not in a beach. It was a cruise ship that I was on recently, and we would actually drop off in one of like the I think it was the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we went over there to the beach, and that's actually where I learned how to swim.
Wait, how long ago was this?
This was probably a couple months ago.
Guess it's never
So-
too late.
You guys were deprived if you couldn't swim as a kid.
No, I never knew how to swim. So I went with a couple friends, and I think one of them is she used to be an Olympic swimmer.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I learned to swim kind of on my own, just, doggy paddle and, suspending myself in the water for a little bit and then putting my feet back down. And eventually I learned how to swim. Do you know how to swim?
Of course, it's like a must in California. And I don't even remember when I learned how to swim. I just knew I knew how to swim as a kid. And then also our junior high school, we had a pool, and that was mandatory. You had to pass swimming if you were going to pass PE.
Mandatory.
Yeah.
Mandatory swimming.
And then they have the low dive and the high dive, and you had to at least jump off of the high dive. You didn't have to dive in, but you would just jump off.
Oh no, my height fear cannot do that.
But yeah, it was like I said, I don't remember when I learned how to swim. I just knew I knew how to swim since I was a kid, because we would go to people's pools all the time and go swimming all the time.
Probably suppressing a bad memory you just tossed in.
No. I know for sure we didn't do lessons like people do now where they have swimming lessons. I know, like I said, we were daring. So probably we just jumped in and figured out how to swim.
Yeah. Any other vacation destinations?
Yes. So one of my ones that I do remember the most when I was a kid was actually going to Hawaii the first time.
Hawaii.
It was my sisters and I, my uncle took us, and it was a lot of fun. I think, first of all, because it was our first trip without our parents. So, we felt a little like, hey, we're mature now, even though we're still kids. And it was just very memorable because there was 4 of us and we didn't have jobs, and my parents didn't really give us travel money. So we had to enjoy Hawaii on a budget, which was pretty cool.
Right. Did you ever go to Hawaii?
No, never. I'd love to.
Yeah, it's real nice. I lived there for 3-4 years, and I'll never go back. I mean, it's an island, so once you see everything, you kind of seen everything. But I don't know. I love Texas. I'm not a tourist island person at all.
Well, it's not just, I guess it just depends where you go to, because I've gone to the different islands in Hawaii as an adult, and I do enjoy going to like the Kauai and the Big Island and everything, because there's a lot, like you said, you like the outdoors. There's a lot to do outdoors
Right.
there. Where I actually went tubing in Kauai on a pineapple plantation. So it was the irrigation system of the pineapple plantation. And because they're not growing pineapples there anymore, they made it into a tubing. You go in and you get on a tube, and it takes you all the way down to somewhere.
Let's change gears a bit. Let's go ahead and check the comments. Let's see what we have in our comments.
All right. So we have AJ Parks. He says he used to go to amusement parks in California or the beaches in Santa Cruz. But one thing that he said that we haven't mentioned is he enjoys fishing, which I think that's pretty cool.
We did that a lot growing up in Florida, being close to the water. We lived probably like 5 minutes from the ocean. Yeah, I remember spending a lot of my summer, like me, my mom, and my sister, we would go fishing and crabbing, basically in the ocean. And, either my mom would be fishing and then we would be swimming in the water. And looking back now, I would never go in that water because of how many stingrays we've caught. I don't know why this was never on our minds, but did you ever go? You said you like fishing.
I've gone fishing. We did a lot of pier fishing when we were in San Diego. But one of the things we used to do as a kid, we used to go clamming.
Oh, yeah. You just like
stick your feet in there and then,
Right.
Yeah. We used to go clamming. My mom would take us. She made it out like it was fun, but really that was our meal.
We didn't eat clams, so it was more about like the kids gathering the clams for the adults, and we just thought it was fun. Like, oh, we got another one.
Yeah.
What about you? Did you ever do any fishing?
No, never did any fishing. You could see like
this generation's
differences.
like deprived of all the fun stuff.
Okay, but like I used to pretend to fish. I had
What is pretending?
my
to
parents
fish?
bought me a plastic fishing rod. Those toy fishing rods that you would just throw in like
And what did you catch?
it just be out of like the toy thing. Toy box. It came with like some little fish.
All right, let's go back to the comments.
Okay, so we do have another one. Gilbert Anisiete, he said his most memorable summer vacation was going jet skiing all day in Lake Havasu in Arizona.
Oh, nice.
And I must say, jet skiing is a lot of fun. We did that too as a kid. And I do not suggest having teenagers on a jet ski because like we have no fear. We're just going to do whatever we want. And then sometimes when we had kids with us and just for the fun of it, we would kind of like turn to the side so they could fall off the jet ski. But they had life vests.
Oh yeah, and like we would like tug like a tube behind the jet ski.
Yeah.
Right. And then they would go like it gets really scary when you're on that water.
It does.
And you're going really fast. Have you ever done that?
Yeah. The waves, they like ripple all over you. It's scary.
And you
yeah.
got to find a way so that when the waves are coming, you're not hitting them directly. Because then
Right.
that's when you'll kind of like jump and stuff. That's a scary
Yeah,
part.
that's when you're like up in
Wait,
the air.
Yeah, that
Oh,
one's
that's
scary.
oh yeah, I've definitely been launched in the air.
Yeah.
And they would do it on purpose. They would circle the
Yeah.
boat to create that wake, and they would drive right through it. And yeah, that thing would go flying. So let's go back to the comments. What else do we got?
Okay, so we have Oliver Villanueva, who is from Biloxi, Mississippi, and he says he likes to go to the beach also.
Nice.
And then we've also got one from, oh, we have somebody from Balintawak that's logged in.
What is that?
That's somewhere in the Philippines.
Oh, okay, nice. It's like 2 a.m. No, it's like no, during time now. It's more like 10 o'clock maybe at night.
I think so. Yeah.
Nice. Any other comments?
Also, the people like doing vegetable garden during the summer,
Vegetable gardens. Okay.
which I remember that too, because my grandma, she had like an acre land and she would plant a lot of vegetables. And growing up, we would harvest the vegetables and we didn't know where it went. All of a sudden, we're like, oh, so that's what we get like in our sinigang and everything. So I really don't remember going groceries for veggies because grandma grew a
wow.
lot. Yeah. So talk about the whole organic thing that was going on way before.
we did strawberry picking in Alabama. They had that, which was fun because it's like you can eat as you're picking them,
Well,
even though you're supposed to weigh them.
we had strawberries in our backyard too.
Did you ever do that?
No.
Fruit picking? No?
Sounds too old for me.
Too old.
Okay, you have to try it. It's a lot of fun. We did cherry picking in Sacramento because there's a lot of cherry orchards there, and that was fun too because yes, people would be eating it when they should be sticking it in the bucket to weigh it at the end.
All right, now that we're talking about food, that actually transitioned us to our next point. What were your favorite snacks to eat when you were at home? Start with let's start with Gen X. What kind of were you guys eating? Dinosaur ribs?
No, I don't remember like a specific snack that we had for summer. I know we ate watermelon a lot because it was just so hot in Sacramento, but I don't remember like a specific snack that we had specifically for summer. Oh, I know. The ice cream man. He used to come around every day and we would get ice cream every single day.
Oh, that was the same for me. What about you? Ice cream? Ice cream?
Yeah, ice cream. Filipino ice candy.
Okay, but it was only 25 cents back then.
I think it was like $1
Yeah, no.
when I was going, 50 cents to $1. And it was probably $1 for you.
I don't even remember.
No.
Probably like $4.
No,
now.
nowadays like $2, $3
Yeah, it's
out of
expensive,
those ice
yeah.
cream trucks. Yeah.
They need to make money.
Mhm.
I know for me, it was a lot of junk food. So cereal for one, wake up in the morning and eat the most sugary cereal. I can't believe I ate that stuff. I look it back now and I'm like, there's no way I could eat that now. It's just all sugar.
We weren't allowed to have cereal at home. And so my grandma used to sneak us cereal. So my parents worked in the Bay Area, so they only came home on the weekends. And so grandma would buy us cereal on Monday, and we had to make sure we had it finished by Friday before my parents came home.
The thing I remember, like fruit snacks, that was also big for us, which is basically just more sugar in a gelatinous form. What about you? Did you have fruit snacks?
We had Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts.
Pop-Tarts are pretty good.
Pastries.
Yeah, pastries. Yeah.
Okay, but
Sugar,
you were
sugar,
saying
sugar.
he was saying his favorite one was ice.
Yeah,
what is
ice
it?
candy.
Okay, and tell us
Philippine-
about that.
So ice candy is like, my mom would make it. She would essentially it's a blend of fruits or just one fruit. She would blend up the fruits and then she would put it in a little plastic tube or like a little plastic baggie, and she would roll it up and tie it and then throw it in the freezer. And then
So what kind of ingredients did you put in yours?
she loved using mango. And mango is my favorite one.
Oh yeah.
And also taro. Taro is really good.
Mango is good.
Mhm.
So Justin said, are you sure your favorite snack is fried chicken?
Fried chicken.
Is that not it?
That's one of them. That's one of them. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Justin.
All right, let's talk about indoor activities now. So we talked about family vacations and it was mostly outdoor stuff. Now, what about when you were stuck at home? What did you do?
We made up games. There were 6 of us in the family, so it was easy to do different things. But I do remember there's this one game that we made up that we taught to our fellow the youth that we grew up with, and
Mhm.
it was like knocking over a can with slippers. So you have one person guarding the can, and then you would have to use slippers to knock them down. And so when we played, we just used regular slippers. But then when other people came into the picture, we started using bakya.
What is that?
What is
Bakya is a wooden slipper from the Philippines. So
Oh,
can you
Hold on, a wooden slipper.
wooden slipper from the Philippines? So can you just imagine like trying to knock down a can? And so if you're the one guarding the can, you're going to put your foot in front of it or other things just to, so that they can't knock your can over. Well, try doing that with wooden slippers.
Wait, are wooden slippers actual slippers that you wear?
Yes.
I did not know that.
I think from what I remember, what they were telling us, they would use that in the fields when they're out in the field.
Okay.
like in farms? and stuff?
Yeah. But now it's like a souvenir that you can get from the Philippines if you ever go. But ask your parents about bakya. It's a real thing.
Let's see. For millennials, video games were huge. I mean, pretty much like your 8-bit where that really started. Well, I guess there was before that, but the 8-bit systems in the 80s and then through the 90s, those were real big. So we were always playing video games. I mean, I pretty much rotted my brain out every summer
Right.
just playing video games all summer. What about you? What did you do?
Whenever Arnie was talking about staying indoors, we used to do as kids, my family and I, we would do like tents inside, like
Like
we'd
a
pretend
fortress?
we do like indoor camping, like fortresses.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And we would just like watch movies, pretend like we're in our own little little cave, pretty much.
Did you ever do that? Did you ever build fortresses out of the couch cushions?
Not out of cushions. We had bunk beds. So then from the top
Oh, that's
bunk to the
perfect.
bottom bunk, we
Yeah.
would put like blankets and everything. And you had to have a password if you wanted to come in
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But
Right.
that's what we did. That and then from the top bunk, we would take the mattress off and kind of slant it down, and that would be our slide. Hey, you got to be creative,
Yes.
when you have a family of 6, you can't afford to go buying toys and all that stuff. So we were creative with the different things we used to do.
With those bunk beds, you could make like hammocks with like some blankets. I don't know if you've tried that before.
No, that one we haven't tried.
We would like roll each other up and then like swing each other around.
Were your parents aware of this?
No, I think it was at a sleepover at some friend's house.
That reminds me because like when my friend got married a few years ago, like we all shared like a hotel room together because we all traveled from all across the country. And the thing we did in the hotel room was we built mattress and couch cushion forts just to kind of like relive our childhood because we hadn't seen each other for so long, and we get back together. It's like, yeah, let's have fun again.
No, it's fun. And then the other thing we used to do was we used to get the slippery sleeping bags.
Yeah.
And take it on the stairs.
What is that?
A sleeping bag.
Just a sleeping bag.
Yeah, but
Okay.
on one side it's like satin, I guess. It's what it is
Yeah,
on the outside.
it's polyester, but yeah, it's always really slick. Yeah.
And so
Okay.
we would take that to the top of the stairs, and that would be our slide.
That reminds me too, like
And that would hurt.
when you would go when you would go camping, right? You had to make sure that wherever you were was level because if it wasn't in the middle of the night, you'd be sliding down because
Right.
you're right, they are real slippery.
Mhm.
What else? Any other indoor activities you can remember?
No, I mean those were the fun ones. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, it's mostly just making up our own games.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we didn't have like video game consoles. Our
Right.
friends all had it, so if we would to go visit them, we would play with that. But us, we pretty much had to have fun on our own. And because there's enough of us, like I said, we could play games together. Even sports, sometimes we'll play,
Right.
fake volleyball and all that. Oh, but yeah,
And growing up, our video game systems, they had like 2 controller slots. So you may have to take turns. What about for Gen Z? I'm curious. What was the video gaming like?
Oh man.
they're high tech.
Yeah.
They're high.
Yeah. I can't. Some video games that we like, usually a bunch of like FPS games and stuff.
First person.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, would you gather in like one place and play together, or was this connected
Oh no,
online?
it's all through just online. We would just be in like calls. We would just be in calls and just talk that way.
See, I think that's also another generational difference because we were always used to having to be in person for video
Yes.
games, and I still play video games now, and it's pretty much all online now. So that is kind of a generational difference. But what about you? Did you play video games at all?
We only played video games when we got to go to our friends' houses and play. And then I do remember we finally did get one video game console. And you know, sometimes when it didn't work, you had to like blow into the
Yeah.
cartridges to make sure it works. But as I got older, I do remember we still did it in person, but people were connecting like up to 16 people to play games because what we would do is we would go in a big hall and we'd have 8 people on each side and do the whole capture the flag thing.
Right.
But you know, but they were all in person, but they were at least 16 people playing all at once, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was like the mid 2000s, I want to say.
Something like that.
And that was kind of the last time like game consoles were like, yeah, get 4 people to try to see the little tiny sprite on their little, corner of the screen.
Oh, you know what? Melanie said she used to play Chinese garter, which I think if she's talking about the same thing, was we used to make out of rubber bands,
Yes.
like rope, and then you would have to try to jump over it and all that stuff. See, that I do remember.
See, we tried to do that here not too long ago. And all the boys would just try to like jump over it just by pure might. But
Oh.
there's a technique for that.
There is a technique. You
Yeah.
got to use your feet.
Yep. And we didn't know that. We were trying to clear it.
And none of the girls like showed you guys?
The girls were showing us that we couldn't jump like they could. That we didn't have the technique down.
Yeah.
And they could keep going higher and higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more comments?
There are there's people, like I said, the Chinese, and then people are mentioning all the different types of video games they like to play. But Renz says he likes doing wrestling moves with his siblings.
Did you ever do any of the rough housing and then one of your siblings would get hurt and you're like, no, don't tell mom, you can hit me back?
No, we never ever did that. But no, I mean, we would like really, if we were going to punch each other, it was for real.
Yeah.
It wasn't for play. So no, we never did that.
Yes, INCRadio South Central States does not condone violence amongst children. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next topic. Oh, here's a good one. Have you ever taken a job during the summer?
I did. I took a job because I wanted money. And, even though you were a kid, you need money to spend. And I took a job, and then I think I was only there for 2 weeks. And I got the whole fear of missing out thing where everything was going on while I was working. So I didn't think that was fun. So I quit my job.
Was it food service or what?
It was not. It was a telemarketing job.
That was as a kid.
Yeah, as a teenager.
Teenager, yeah.
Yeah.
Teenager,
Because
yeah.
we had to be 15 to get a job in California.
Oh, wow.
You couldn't be any younger. So it had to be
Right.
15. So it was a telemarketing job. But like I said, I kept missing out because we had things to do during the weekdays and stuff. And yeah.
So I had a job after my freshman year during the summer, and I worked at a car customization shop. And I don't think it was legal. I think it worked under the table. But, it was a different time back then in Florida, which was not good either that it was in Florida, because just think a car garage in the middle of summer and there was no air conditioning. And I'm working around like heavy machinery, working on cars. It was not safe at all. I don't remember getting paid for it. I think they paid my dad.
I got paid.
What about you? Did you ever take a job?
Yeah, I think it was the time during my junior year of high school. We did, it was a food service job. It was like a barbecue joint that we did. And I was one of the bus boys. The bus boys, they would go around the tables. They just pick up the plates and stuff.
Oh, okay. How long did you last on that?
I think it was just through the course of the summer, like 2-3 months.
Okay, you actually lasted the whole summer.
Yeah.
I never
Usually some
had
people don't.
I never had a job in the food industry ever.
No, really.
No.
That was my first job that was legal after high school was food service. Actually, I'm actually really grateful that I did food service because I learned a lot about like preparing food and the basics like that. So Yeah, it's definitely a. I would highly recommend it for kids to take food service jobs in the summer, even if you only last, like 2 weeks, just to learn, basic food handling.
I think we never did food service because we were actually cooking food at home every day for our parents. So, why you're already doing it? That's your chore. Why would you want that to be your work?
All right. So we're going to go ahead and close out with our final question. So you've enjoyed the summer. You went on vacation. You rotted your brain out with video games. You ate a bunch of junk food, but then school is starting. How did that feel going back to school?
I was a nerd, so I didn't mind going back to school. I actually enjoyed school. And I think I liked school because where I lived, there were not a lot of Asians in the community. And so that was the only time I got to see people who were not Asian.
And as I mentioned before, I was always scared of like scary rides, and I was always scared of scary movies growing up. I was always scared of going back to school. It's like you'd watch TV shows and you just see like all the bullying. And I remember my first day in fifth grade riding the bus for the first time. The first thing I was asking the other kids, like, so does anyone get bullied? Like, what do we do about bullies? It turned out not to be as big as a problem as I thought it would be.
Yeah, and for me, I was in honor classes, and I had a lot of the jocks in my class, and because they had to have a certain GPA to play sports. And so, if they needed help, I would help them anytime they wanted. And so when I was walking around campus, they were the ones around me. So I never got bullied because I had all these big people around me.
What about you? What was it like going back to school?
Honestly, I was one of the kids that enjoyed going to school.
Really?
Yeah, most days the kids nowadays, they just want to stay home and just play their video games.
I thought that was you.
It was me, but I needed something to do outside of video games. So
right. That's good.
And I was in athletics. I would play football.
Oh, did you? You played football?
I played football. We had the most traumatic experience I had. We'd played shirts and skins. And I was the kid that got skins. So that was pretty traumatic.
Yeah, I was a chubby kid, and I was like, I don't want to be skins.
Yeah, but everything else, everything else about school I enjoyed, like learning. I think my favorite class was actually history. I liked history.
Oh, I liked history too. And I think I enjoyed school because I was always a teacher's pet.
Really?
I was. Hey, because I worked hard. I did all my work. And I would help them like, hey, can I go erase a chalkboard or can I go do other stuff? Because I would just get bored. And so, I would help around.
See, I was the opposite. I was the class clown. I remember in ninth grade English, I got in trouble like every day. I think I got sent out of the room every day.
See, and I think that's a difference with me because even though I love school, yes, we would play pranks and we would do things, but because all the teachers knew I was, the good kid, they would never expect it from me. It's like one time we made slings out of rubber band. So you have your rubber band and then you get paper and fold it up and then you would fling that and you would just like sling everybody in the class. And so my teacher started seeing things flying around and busted like half the class, except for me and my accomplices who were all nerds who actually were doing it.
Yeah, we used to make hornets where you would roll up the paper, bend it, and then you could launch it with rubber. Yeah, those were dangerous.
That's what we were doing.
Recommend it. What about you? Did y'all have anything like that in school?
When Arnie mentioned the rubber bands thing, like you would put 2 fingers up and then it's kind of like a prank. You would pull it on like some random kid's back and just start.
Were you the bully?
No, I was not the bully. No, I was not the bully, but it was kind of fun just to mess around with some of my friends.
Yeah.
Like you just pull this rubber band back and it snapped right back at him.
See, but it was clean fun. It wasn't like anything that was horrible.
Right.
That or else sometimes we take Sharpies were new kind of then. And so we would take Sharpies and put dots on people's faces.
All right. Well, that closes out our show. So we'd like to go ahead and feature one of the activities that we actually had at Kuya Tech. If you could bring up those pictures, Arnie, you can go ahead and talk about them.
Yeah. So last weekend here in Fort Worth, we had a district organist workshop which was pretty cool. They came in, our district minister gave them their advice, and then they broke off into two different segments. One was talking about, learning about music. The other one, they actually had hands-on practice, and where they were trying to play the music all together to make sure they were at the same time. But I thought the coolest part was we had 3 people there who didn't even know how to play the piano or the organ or anything like that. And they were actually giving them classes on how to read notes. And then the other ones who were beginner organists was there so that they can help learn from the ones who are a little bit more seasoned. And it was just a really good activity. We had people from all over South Central states come and sharing their knowledge and, learning how to play the organ.
Nice. All right. Let's see. What kind of closing comments do we have that we can read off?
Melanie, she liked buying new school supplies and taking notes in class. Bullies in the Philippines are different, Ren says. I wonder what that means. And then Miko's friends are all on here talking about the different video games he plays.
Clash of Clans, yeah. That's a good one.
And then Ren says he liked to watch 80s kind of cheesy horror movies.
Yeah.
Do you remember watching any of those during the summer?
Like I said, I was too afraid growing up to watch horror movies. I mean, yeah, I remember watching one zombie movie, and that like dominated my brain for like 2 years. Like, there's gonna be zombies at any moment, and I was so scared of the dark because of zombies.
I'm surprised because we would watch that one horror movie, like Things Happen When You Go to Sleep, kind of a thing, and I thought I would be scared, but I wasn't. But there was one time where there was this one movie where like people are possessed, I guess. And our parents warned us, don't watch it. Don't watch it. You're too young to watch it. And we watched it anyway. That was scary because that one seemed more real. At least like the other ones where they're, they got the chainsaws and all that stuff. That doesn't seem too real. But the one with people being possessed, I thought was kind of weird. But yeah, we used to watch that during the summertime, and we would have all our friends over and see who would get scared first.
Any other comment?
Yes. Somebody said that their favorite summertime treat used to be watermelon slushies.
Oh, so I think we made something like that a few days ago.
With our lemonade.
Yeah.
Yes, but and then we have Robert on saying hello from Tampa, and we have people saying hello from different places. We've got Lubbock, Rochester, New York. And then we've also got folks from Blue Ridge,
Texas. Yeah.
Blue Ridge, Texas. But yeah.
I have not come across the actual ridge that is blue in Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and give our final shout outs. Let's go ahead and start with Miko. You have any final shout outs?
Yeah, final shout outs to my mom and dad. They're actually flying from Japan back here.
Oh,
So
nice.
They were on vacation while we were working.
Arnie, what are your final shout outs?
I just want to give a shout out, I guess, to all my siblings for making growing up fun. Even though we fought a lot, but it was still fun playing different things. So
I guess I'll shout out my sister because we did fight a lot growing up, but yeah, we also had a lot of good memories, and also my family, for taking us on, all sorts of vacations, such good memories that I have. And we'll also thank our CFO coordinator and CEBSI president, Brother Angelo Arano V. Manalo, and of course, our executive minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo. So be sure to tune in to INCRadio South Central States next week at the same time. We thank you so much for joining us today. Have a wonderful summer.